Hello, thank you for joining me at the end of 25. I guess this is the last of me for the year, unless I get all hyperactive tomorrow, which I probably won't. Another bit of an unscripted one now. I had another of those weird random finds yesterday in a charity shop just south of the river. I stumbled over a vintage Ladybird. It doesn't say the year. I think it priced at 24p. I'm guessing this dates from the early 70s. I think it's probably a safe bet. It seems to be pre-tops numbering, if that means anything to you. But I don't know if I've bitched about this before, but the idea now that you've probably all seen the kind of ironic regurgitations of these, but that seems to be all that's available as far as I can make out. You can't seem to go into a bookshop and get yourself a reproduction of a vintage Ladybird title. You've got to buy the kind of ironic postmodern version, which I got rather limited enthusiasm for those. It's one of those things, funny for about 5 minutes, and then you just, well, yeah, I get it. And I do think it's rather a shame that the original items have sort of fallen by the wayside. So this is not in great condition, but here is an interesting Ladybird book which will help answer the many questions children ask. But it's aimed at this kind of kiddie level understanding of the mechanics of running a railway. So it's not really, sadly, not going to go through the sort of various classes and makes a model of a 1970s rolling stock. It sort of speaks in sort of broader generalisations. That you do get a little intro with a sort of Puffing Billy looking thing there. Here you go, a brush type 4 or class 47 as they were later known. But it sort of gets into the kind of the job roles. That's a station master. I didn't realise they had those gold caps. So you also get to see somewhere, actually, I have a textbook, well, not a textbook, but sort of a more serious book about BR's branding over the years, tucked away back there, which is quite interesting. But you'll see that reflected here. So, it even gets down to I suppose quite commendably, really, sort of reinforcing with kids that it's not just about the engine drivers. There's a multitude of people. Spare a thought for the cooks. Also, sleeper trains. I don't think you get those too often here anymore, do you? And you got the whole maintenance crews. There's a Class 08 shunter at work there. You got maintenance on the overhead cables. Now, my experience of commuting some years ago really gave me the impression that this practice wasn't the discipline it once had been. The amount of times on that route that the pantograph had yanked down or damaged the cable in some way sort of led me to think that maintenance. But even here, there's spare a thought for the people who have to clean up behind messy passengers. It sort of mentions the amount of cigarette ash you'd have got in those days. But it's one of those big red cranes like Hornby used to make. But anyway, it's slightly curious coincidence that I stumbled over this, because I probably mentioned this one back when it was in its it still is in its ebook phase, but it's since become print reality, a title in which I have to hold my hand up. I will be literal about that, to a certain level of input, shall we say, to this rather curious title, Withdrawn Condemned, a childhood of punk rock music and railway enthusiasm, are now available in a very limited print run, 85 individually numbered copies, dealing with a childhood which you might describe as conflicted between incompatible hobbies. I think there's a certain age where no hobbies are incompatible. You're just happy with your enthusiasms, but sort of teenage, all the stuff that comes with it does tend to do a bit of a number with childhood innocence on that score. So this book, Withdrawn Condemned, examines a kid's inner world during a 70s childhood dominated by twin obsessions. Firstly, railway enthusiasm, a conventional boyhood fixation stoked by the Rev W. Awdry's books and the Trying Hornby range. In contrast to this parentally sanctioned pastime, taboo preoccupations began to intrude. Music, specifically punk rock, a phenomenon which derailed the young gadget into a world of music weeklies, late-night radio shows, records your parents wouldn't approve of, and all-round preteen discontentment. So I'm not sure actually how much common ground. There is another title which I only this week learned about, and it appears the author might just recently have left us. This book is Parallel Lines or Journeys on the Railway of Dreams by Ian Marchant, and it looks as if it might be sort of in the same, cover the same or similar areas to this, but it appears to be out of print and a little bit expensive to pick up at the moment, so I don't know. But anyway, as far as this one goes, shall I read you a short extract? Now, I do believe this may be the first book to discuss both the demise of Sid Vicious and Western Region diesel hydraulic traction. I'm fairly confident it's the first book to discuss the availability of discarded gentlemen's publications on Hampshire and Berkshire Unit Class 205s. A short extract. A more interesting development on one such journey, however, was the discovery under the seat cushions of a genuine full-strength nudie mag. While this wasn't my first exposure to such material, this example was in better condition than the papier-mâché wads, which myself and associates were prone to concealing in plastic bags in the woods. Only slightly crumpled from its recent service life, this 1979 edition of Men Only was as close to mint condition as could be hoped. Having been pored over for the length of our journey, the item found itself in my own questionable custody. This proved a disappointingly short-lived arrangement. My mum, with that unsettling instinct for contraband, sniffed it out in double quick time, and I was relieved of my prize. Protestations as I wished to peruse the collector's car article cut no ice whatsoever. So that's this, yeah. It's been available as an ebook for, I think, about the last year, and more recently a short print run of 85 copies individually numbered. I'll post the details below. So $10.99 plus postage. So, if you feel the need to indulge the ramblings of a man who was once addressed as Hugh Bastard by no less than David Johansen of the New York Dolls, and was thrown out of Rod Stewart's garden, as also described in here. And this could be the book for you. Anyway, that's me for now. Happy 26. I'll see you all on the other side. Whether or not you're out celebrating or trying to have a bit of an easy one, I'm still on the fence about that. But thank you for your support this year and previous years, and I do hope we catch up. Thank you.